If you are reading this right now, I need you to stop scrolling. Close the other tabs. Silence your phone. Lock your attention on these words, because what I am about to tell you is going to reframe everything you thought you understood about the waiting you have been in. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to discover why the last 72 hours felt so heavy, why that moment of restraint you showed this week was not the failure you think it was, and why the breakthrough you have been believing for is about to show up in your life without warning. This is not generic motivation designed to make you feel good for 5 minutes. This is a targeted message that was written with your name on it. And if you stay until the end, you will walk away knowing exactly what I mean. Something fundamental shifted in the spiritual atmosphere around you in the last few days. You felt it even if you could not name it. Maybe you woke up at 3 in the morning, eyes wide open, your heart pounding for no logical reason. You lay there trying to figure out what was wrong, but there was nothing. Just this inexplicable sense that something was moving, something was changing. Or maybe you have been moving through your days, feeling like you are operating at half speed, while everyone around you moves at normal pace. Like you are wading through invisible water. Like there is a weight pressing on your shoulders that you cannot shake off. That heaviness on your chest that you have been trying to dismiss. That restlessness underneath your skin that will not let you settle. That strange feeling of suspension, like you are caught between two worlds, standing in a hallway between the room you just left and the room you are about to enter. You have been telling yourself it is just stress, just overthinking, just exhaustion. But it is not just anything. It is the atmosphere adjusting itself around something that is ending and something else that is beginning. And you are standing directly in the center of that shift. The enemy has been working around the clock this week, throwing everything he has at you, and there is one very specific reason why. He can see what is about to manifest in your life. He knows what door has been unlocked in the courts of heaven. He knows what breakthrough is walking in your direction. And here is what terrifies him. He cannot stop it. The decree has already been issued. The blessing has already been released. It is already in motion, so if he cannot block what is coming, his only option is to block you. His only play is to make sure you are so distracted, so emotionally exhausted, so tangled up in doubt that when your moment arrives, you are looking the other way. You miss it. You walk right past it. He wants you standing in the doorway of your destiny, completely oblivious to the fact that everything you prayed for just walked into the room. Keep you distracted long enough that the window closes before you realize it opened. But you are not going to miss it this time, because I am about to show you something that will completely reframe what you have been living through. Think back to a specific moment this week when something triggered you. When someone said something or did something, and every fiber of your being wanted to react. You wanted to defend yourself. You wanted to explain. The words were right there. The response was locked and loaded. Everything in you was screaming to release it. But you did not. You stayed quiet. You walked away. You chose silence over defense. You chose peace over being right. And when you made that choice, you felt weak, like you gave up ground, like you lost something important. But I need you to hear this. That silence was not weakness. That restraint was not surrender. That moment when you chose to hold your tongue, to walk away, to let it go, that was not you losing. That was you winning. That was you operating from spiritual maturity the enemy was not prepared for. That moment was the signature. That was you signing the final document that sealed your breakthrough and cancelled every assignment the enemy had against you. You did not ruin anything. You completed everything. That silence was a weapon, and you just used it to dismantle something in the spiritual realm that had been blocking you. Let me take you to a story from Scripture that is going to completely reframe what you just experienced. In 1 Kings chapter 18, there is an account of a prophet named Elijah who found himself standing on Mount Carmel in front of an entire nation that had abandoned the God of their fathers. The land had not seen a single drop of rain in over 3 years. The ground was cracked, dead and barren. The rivers had dried up. The crops had failed. Famine had spread across the region. There was no sign of change anywhere on the horizon. The sky was a relentless mocking blue. Day after day, month after month, year after year, nothing but drought and death and despair. And in the middle of this wasteland, Elijah stood before 450 prophets of Baal and issued a challenge. He said, "Let us see whose God is real. Let us see who actually has power. You call on your God, and I will call on mine. And the God who answers by fire is the one we will serve." So the prophets of Baal built their altar. They prepared their sacrifice, and they spent the entire day crying out to a God who could not hear them, cutting themselves, begging, pleading, working themselves into a frenzy, trying to conjure up a response from a deity that did not exist. And nothing happened. Silence, emptiness, absolute failure. Then it was Elijah's turn. He rebuilt the altar of the Lord that had been torn down. He arranged the wood. He prepared the sacrifice. And then, just to make sure there was no question about what was about to happen, he had them drench the entire thing with water. Not once, not twice, 12 times. He filled a trench around the altar with water until everything was completely soaked. And then he prayed one simple prayer, and fire fell from heaven. Not a spark, not a flame. Fire, consuming fire that devoured the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, the dust, and even licked up all the water in the trench. It was the most dramatic, undeniable, overwhelming display of divine power the generation had ever witnessed. Absolute proof that God was real and that God was moving. And then, right after that moment, right after seeing heaven respond in the most spectacular way imaginable, Elijah did something that most people overlook. He told King Ahab to go and eat and drink because he could hear the sound of an abundance of rain. But here is the thing. When Elijah said that, there was not a single cloud in the sky. There was no shift in the wind. There was no change in the atmosphere. There was absolutely zero evidence in the natural realm that rain was coming. But Elijah heard it. He heard it in the spirit before it manifested in the physical. He was so attuned to what God was doing in the unseen that he could declare what was coming before there was any proof that it was on the way. He did not wait for confirmation. He did not need a weather report. He did not need a sign. He heard it and he spoke it, and then he acted on it. That hearing, that willingness to declare what had not yet arrived, was not presumption. It was not arrogance. It was not him trying to speak something into existence out of thin air. It was alignment. He was so connected to the heart of God, so tuned in to what heaven had already decided, that he could hear the decree before it manifested. He was not creating the rain with his words. He was agreeing out loud with what God had already released in the spiritual realm. He was acting as a witness to a reality that already existed in heaven, but had not yet touched earth. And if you have been feeling like you are hearing something that no one else around you can hear, if you have been sensing that a breakthrough is coming, even though there is no visible proof of it yet, if you have this inexplicable knowing in your spirit that something is about to shift even though your circumstances have not changed, you are not imagining it. You are not being delusional. You are not setting yourself up for disappointment. You are hearing what Elijah heard. You are picking up on a frequency that most people are not tuned into. You are sensing a shift in the spiritual atmosphere that has not yet manifested in the physical realm. And the fact that you can hear it, the fact that you can feel it, is not random. It is confirmation that you are connected to it. If you were not supposed to receive it, you would not be able to sense it. The fact that your spirit is resonating with this coming breakthrough means it has been assigned to you. It has your name on it. But here is what most people miss about this story. Elijah had just experienced the greatest victory of his life. He had called down fire. He had defeated 450 false prophets. He had prophesied rain and watched it come. And then one woman, Queen Jezebel, sent him a single threat, one message, one voice, and he ran. He collapsed under a tree and said, "It is enough, I am done. I am the only one left." Right in the middle of his greatest triumph, he believed the lie that he was alone and that somehow it was not going to work out for him. And God did not rebuke him. God fed him. God let him rest. Then God said, "The journey ahead is too great for you. Get up and eat again." God was saying the version of Elijah that had been running on fear was not equipped for what was coming next. He needed to be restored first. If you feel tapped out right now, if you feel like you do not have the strength for what is coming, that feeling is not disqualification. That feeling is information. You are being asked to stop running on fumes and let something fill you. You are being asked to receive before you move forward, because what is about to walk into your life requires a version of you that has been fed, that has been restored, that has stopped operating from fear and started operating from knowing. And the knowing starts here. It starts with you understanding that the silence you walked through was not God ignoring you. It was God protecting what was coming. Every time you wanted to force something and chose to wait, every time you wanted to speak and chose to stay quiet, every time you wanted to defend yourself and chose to let it go, you were not losing ground. You were holding position. You were maintaining the integrity of what God was building. And now that the building is complete, the manifestation is about to become visible. Nahum chapter 1 verse 9 says, "What do you conspire against the Lord? He will make an utter end of it. Affliction will not rise up a second time. Affliction will not rise up a second time." You are not in a cycle. You are not starting over. You are in a conclusion. The thing that has been testing you, the situation that has been weighing on you, it is not resetting, it is ending. And it is ending so completely that it will never return in the same form. This is not a pause. This is a finish. The heaviness you have been feeling is not punishment. It is finality. It is the weight of something collapsing under its own opposition to what God has already decreed. You are not being pressed down. You are watching something else get pressed out. And once it is gone, the space it occupied is going to be filled with what you have been believing for. Not a small version, not a partial answer. The full manifestation. But there is one thing that has been functioning as an invisible ceiling over your life, and it is probably not what you have been assuming it was. It has not been your past. The mistakes you made 5 years ago, 10 years ago, last month, they are not the problem. It has not been the doors that closed in your face. It has not been the people who walked away. It has not been the delays or the disappointments or the detours that took you off course for a season. Those things shaped you. They refined you. They taught you lessons you could not have learned any other way. They brought you to your knees. Yes, but they were not the barrier. They were obstacles, painful ones, but not the ultimate block. The real block, the thing that has been holding you back more than anything else, is this. You have been believing God for the promise, while simultaneously believing deep down that you are the exception to the rule. This is the hidden agreement that has been functioning like a glass ceiling just above your head. You believe that God does this for people. You believe the testimonies you hear from others. You believe the scripture when it talks about breakthrough and favor and divine intervention. You believe that miracles are real. You believe that God moves in supernatural ways. You believe all of it, but you believe it for everyone else. For the people who have their lives together, for the ones who did not mess up as badly as you did, for the ones who started earlier, who had better circumstances, who made wiser choices, who did not carry the baggage you are carrying. And somewhere beneath all your outward faith, beneath the prayers you pray and the declarations you make, there is a quiet voice that whispers, but not for you, not fully, not like that. You will get a version of it, maybe a scaled-down version, a partial answer. But people like you, with stories like yours, with histories like yours, do not get the full manifestation. You are the asterisk, the fine print, the exception to the general rule of God's goodness. And every time something has not worked out on your timeline, every time you have watched someone else step into a breakthrough you had been believing for, every time a door closed after you thought it was finally opening, you have taken that as confirmation of the lie. You have used it as evidence that you are right to believe you are different, that you are less entitled to the promise than others. Instead of recognizing those moments as tests of whether you would hold your position, whether you would keep believing even when the evidence said otherwise, you internalized them as proof that your exception status was real. That belief, that hidden contract you signed with doubt somewhere along the way, has been creating a barrier between you and what God has already released for you. Not because God agreed with it. He never signed that contract. He never endorsed that lie. But because you kept renewing it, every disappointment became another signature on a document that said, "I am not like the others. The rules are different for me. I will get close, but I will never quite arrive. And I am here to tell you that contract is cancelled. That agreement is void. That ceiling is shattered. Because the truth is, you are not the exception. You never were. The delays were not proof that you are less favored. They were proof that what is coming for you required more preparation, more strengthening, more refining than a quick answer could have provided. The closed doors were not rejections. They were redirections protecting you from things that looked right but would have limited you. The waiting was not punishment, it was positioning, and now that the positioning is complete, now that you have been prepared for what is coming, the manifestation is about to begin. If you have felt this message land on something in you that needed to be addressed, do me a favor. Hit the like button right now, not for the algorithm, but as an agreement, as a way of saying, I see what you are saying, and I am choosing to break that agreement today. Let that one click be the signature on a new contract. One that says, I am not the exception. I am the one this was meant for. That belief, that hidden agreement, that you are somehow less entitled to the promise than others, is what has been keeping the door cracked, but not fully open. But I am here to tell you that the door is not cracked anymore. It is wide open. And what is walking through it has been customized for you, not a generic blessing, not something that was meant for someone else and got redirected. Something that was designed specifically for the story you have lived, the lessons you have learned, and the person you have become in the process. You are not an afterthought in the kingdom. You are not a backup plan. You are not getting the leftovers. You are the chosen one this message was sent to, and everything that has happened up until this point has been preparation, not punishment. The delay was not denial. It was development. And now that the development is complete, the deployment is about to begin. And it is going to move so fast that you will barely have time to process it before you are living it. Here is what you need to understand. You are already ready. This is critical for you to understand. You do not need to become someone else before you can receive what is coming. You do not need to fix one more thing, heal one more wound, overcome one more fear, or achieve one more milestone. The version of you that exists right now, sitting here reading these words, with all your imperfections and all your unresolved questions and all your lingering doubts. This version is the one that was always meant to receive this, not the version you wish you were, not the version you think you should be, not some future polished version that has it all figured out. You, right now, exactly as you are. That is who this breakthrough was assigned to. You are enough. You have done enough. You have waited long enough. You have endured enough. You have fought enough battles, climbed enough mountains, walked through enough valleys, and proven your faithfulness in enough seasons of silence. There is nothing left to prove. There is no more qualifying to be done. The door is already open. The blessing is already released. The only thing standing between you and the manifestation is your willingness to receive it as the person you are today. Not as the person you think you need to become first. But readiness is not a passive state. It is not sitting quietly with your hands folded, waiting for heaven to drop something in your lap. Readiness is active. It is a posture. It is a decision. It is the choice to stop rehearsing the delay and start operating from the reality of what has already been decreed in the courts of heaven. It is moving from hoping to knowing, from asking if it is going to happen to accepting that it already has in the spiritual realm, and you are simply awaiting its manifestation in the physical. It is the refusal to let the enemy use the gap between promise and fulfillment as evidence that nothing is coming. It is standing in that gap with absolute certainty, knowing that what you cannot yet see with your eyes is more real than what you can. This shift in posture, this movement from passive, waiting to active, knowing, creates an energetic alignment that pulls the future into the present. It opens pathways for the divine to move. It signals to heaven that you are ready to carry what is coming. Because readiness is not about perfection, it is about position. And you are in position right now. The preparation is complete. The testing is done. The refining has accomplished its purpose. What is walking toward you in this moment is not going to wait for you to feel more worthy or more capable or more deserving. It is coming for the you that exists today. Nahum chapter 1 verse 9 says, "What do you conspire against the Lord? He will make an utter end of it. Affliction will not rise up a second time." Read that again slowly. Affliction will not rise up a second time. You are not in a cycle. You are not going back to the beginning. You are not resetting to square one. You are in a conclusion. The situation that has been testing you, the weight that has been pressing on you, the enemy's assignment against your peace and your future. It is not pausing. It is not taking a break to regroup and come back stronger. It is ending, and it is ending so completely, so thoroughly, so permanently, that it will never be able to return in the same form again. This is not a temporary relief. This is a total finish. The heaviness you have been feeling, that pressure on your chest, that weight in the atmosphere, it is not punishment, it is finality. It is the last gasp of something that is collapsing under the weight of its own opposition to what God has already declared over your life. You are not being pressed down. You are witnessing something else being pressed out. And when it is